The phone rang abruptly, pulling me from my thoughts as I organized a client proposal. The delivery driver's anxious voice came through the receiver. "Hello, Marcus, your food has arrived, but no one is answering room 507 at the Hyatt." My breath hitched. Wasn't my husband at the office? A hint of confusion in my voice, I said, "My husband is at the office. You might have delivered to the wrong room." But the delivery driver then stated that the man who opened the door had already signed for it. After hanging up, I checked the order details. The Hyatt, room 507, 2 sushi meals, extra wasabi. Marcus loved sushi. And he loved double wasabi. I picked up my phone, my fingertips trembling uncontrollably, and opened the location sharing app. Marcus's location showed the office. He had location sharing enabled, a small habit we'd agreed on after marriage for convenience and a sense of security. Now, this once sweet small habit felt so ironic. My shaking fingers tapped the call screen, and a few seconds later, the call connected. "Honey, what is it?" "I'm in a meeting," Marcus said with a hint of impatience. The background was eerily silent, without any of the usual meeting chatter. "Nothing, just wondering when you're coming home tonight." I paused, then added, "The sushi place you like has a new special. Should I grab you something tonight?" "No need, the office ordered catered meals tonight." His words came out quickly, as if he was trying to evade something. The call ended. I reopened the location sharing app. Marcus's location still showed the office. I typed location spoofing software into the search bar on my desktop, watching a long list of results appear. It turns out, faking it was that simple. Then, I picked up my phone and dialed my best friend Sarah. I asked her to call Marcus, pretending to be interested in a counseling project for their company. 3 minutes later, Sarah's text message popped up, "Phone is off." All my unease linked together in that moment, forming a cruel truth. My husband, Marcus, might be cheating. On morning, the conference room door opened, and Director walked in with an unfamiliar female. "Everyone, this is Director, a senior editor at Vogue magazine. She will be in charge of our brand collaboration project." The moment I looked up, my fingers involuntarily tightened on the edge of the folder. "Hello everyone, I'm delighted to be working with your company." Her gaze swept across the conference room, pausing slightly when she saw me. "I hope we have a pleasant collaboration in the coming days." When Robert introduced me, she extended her hand. "Director, I've heard so much about you. I hear the last quarter's cosmetic ad campaign you led was very successful. I look forward to our cooperation." I took her hand, feeling a slight pressure from her fingertips, as if she was asserting something. "A pleasure to work with you, Director," I replied calmly, trying not to let any emotion show. After the meeting, colleagues left one by one, but Skylar leisurely gathered her documents until only the two of us remained in the conference room. "What a coincidence, Director." She leaned against the edge of the conference table, her tone light. "It's a small world, isn't it? I wonder why Director chose to collaborate with our company." I looked her directly in the eyes. "Is it because of our professionalism, or for other reasons?" "Of course, it's because of your professionalism." She smiled. "But meeting a friend's wife is an unexpected bonus. You know, Marcus never introduced me to his friends." The word friend from her lips carried a hint of harsh scorn. "Since Skylar is so professional, she should know that bringing private relationships into work is unwise," I said in a low, warning tone. "Private relationships?" The smile on her face deepened. "Director is overthinking. I just find it a pity that you, as Marcus's wife, didn't know he had such friends. I hope Director remembers that this is my workplace." My voice grew cold. "Of course, we'll cooperate well." She picked up her purse to leave, then turned back. "Oh, by the way, Marcus has been looking very well lately. I bet he's very happy at home." After work, I stood at the entrance of the company building, suddenly unsure where to go. Go back to that house full of lies, or find somewhere to digest all this alone? Just then, a familiar car pulled up outside an upscale restaurant not far away. Marcus got out of the driver's seat and walked around to open the door for Skylar. He leaned in, whispering something in her ear, which prompted her clear laughter. For a moment, I wanted to rush into the restaurant and expose their relationship in front of everyone, but I didn't. I walked for a while before calling a rideshare home. It was 1 in the morning, and Marcus still hadn't returned, nor had he sent any messages. I turned off the lights and lay in bed, but sleep wouldn't come. Skylar's triumphant expression and Marcus's intimate whispers in her ear constantly replayed in my mind. What did I do wrong? Countless questions swirled in my heart, but I found no answers. As dawn approached, I heard the door lock turn. Marcus tiptoed into the bedroom, carrying the strong smell of alcohol and a faint perfume scent. He thought I was sleeping and carefully slipped into bed without even taking a shower. Working late? I suddenly asked. Yes, the client was difficult, we were drinking until now. His voice was full of surprise, not expecting me to still be awake. Is also your client? I questioned him. What are you talking about? His tone became guarded. Nothing, just had a dream. I dreamt you were with her, I said softly. It's absurd, right? Absurd. Go to sleep, it's late. He turned his back to me and soon began to breathe evenly, feigning sleep. But I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the fire in my heart burning brighter. You look awful. Sarah pushed aside her coffee cup and looked me directly in the eyes. This is your third time being late this week, and you almost got a client's name wrong. Tell me what's going on. Nothing, I just haven't been sleeping well lately, I said. Grace, I've known you for 10 years. Her voice was soft. You've never been like this because of nothing. Coffee in my cup had grown cold. I just stared at it, then finally, I slowly uttered the words. He's cheating. Sarah was silent for a few seconds, showing no surprise. How did you find out? Her voice was low. By a coincidence. A delivery went to the wrong place, and they called me. I gave a bitter laugh. Even more absurd, that woman is now my colleague at the office. I see her every day. Skylar? Sarah frowned slightly. You know her? A sense of dread surfaced in my heart. Sarah put down her coffee cup. She has a bad reputation in the industry, relying on connections to get ahead. I didn't expect her to do something like this. What are you going to do? I don't know, I shook my head. Grace, sometimes leaving a relationship isn't because you don't love enough, but because you finally learn to love yourself. In that moment, something inside me shifted. I don't know if I'm that brave, my voice was a little hoarse. Sarah held my hand. Remember, no matter what you decide, I'll support you. But don't let someone else's choice ruin your life. Back home, I started to clear out the long accumulated clutter. While tidying my home office, I found a photo album from the early days of our marriage. Opening the first page, there was a wedding photo of Marcus and me, him with his arm around my waist, his smile as bright as sunshine. As I was looking at it, I heard the door lock turn. Marcus was home, earlier than usual. What are you doing? He looked at the photos and documents scattered on the floor. Just organizing some old things. I closed the photo album. Okay, Grace, there's something I want to talk to you about. His tone was unusually formal. In the living room, he sat at one end of the sofa, and I at the other. The distance between us felt like a chasm that couldn't be crossed. Grace, we've been married for 6 years, but lately I've been thinking about our relationship. He paused, seemingly choosing his words carefully. I think there might be some irreconcilable differences between us. Irreconcilable differences? What a convenient excuse. I think we might need some space to each think about our future direction. He finally stated his true purpose. Perhaps some time apart would be a good choice for both of us, so let's get a divorce. I didn't answer immediately, just looked at the tree shadows outside the window. Do you have anything to say? He probed cautiously. He expected me to cry and make a scene, to question him, to beg him to stay, just like every argument before. Okay, I said calmly. He froze, clearly not expecting this reaction. You agree? Didn't you say it would be good for both of us? My voice was surprisingly calm. But he hesitated. Don't you want to know why? Is it because of Skylar? I looked directly into his eyes. His expression changed, like a thief caught red-handed. A divorce requires us to divide assets. What are your thoughts? I asked. Marcus seemed even more at a loss. I thought you'd be more concerned about our emotional issues. I took out a notebook. I've made a list: real estate, cars, savings, stocks, and some jointly purchased valuables. We can split them equally, or do you have other suggestions? Marcus's face was filled with shock. I need time to think. Okay, let me know when you've thought it through. I stood up. I'm going to make dinner. What do you want to eat? No need, I've got plans to eat with friends. He left in a hurry. The house fell silent again. I returned to the bedroom, opened the closet, and began to organize my clothes. Taking them out one by one, putting them back one by one, it felt like I was reorganizing my life. The woman in He mirror was both strange and familiar. She had once given everything for love, backed down, compromised, endured deception. But from today on, she would learn to love herself, protect her dignity and value. A lawyer's business card spun between my fingertips. Sarah had recommended her, a female lawyer specializing in marital asset disputes, particularly skilled at protecting women's rights. Putting the business card down, I began to clear out the documents in my home office drawer. Marriage certificate, property deeds, vehicle registrations, insurance policies, bank statements, soon to be divided, clearly marked yours and mine. As I was organizing, under a stack of insurance policies, I found a bank statement I'd never seen before. The account name was Marcus's, but it wasn't our usual joint account. The statement showed fixed amounts deposited monthly and irregular large withdrawals. In the past 3 months, the withdrawal frequency had significantly increased, with each amount around $8,000. The latest transaction was 2 weeks ago, with Skylar written in the memo line. A chill crept up from my feet. He wasn't just cheating, he was using our money to buy her things. I photographed the statement and sent it to Sarah. Help me figure out what's going on with this. Looks like a hidden account, and the transaction pattern is suspicious. Don't tip him off. I'll contact my friends to find out more, she quickly replied. Putting the statement back, I continued organizing. I needed more evidence. In the afternoon, I met with Ms. Evelyn, the lawyer Sarah recommended. Ms. Grace, from a legal perspective, there are a few points you need to be aware of, she said, flipping through the documents I brought. First, marital infidelity itself is not enough to affect asset division. The key is whether your husband has transferred or concealed joint assets. I took a deep breath and handed her my phone, the screen showing the photo of the bank statement. I found a hidden account today. She examined it carefully and nodded. This is a good start, but we need more evidence to prove the source and destination of these funds. You suspect he might be using this money to buy a house for the other party? I told her my suspicion. She picked up her pen and quickly jotted notes in her notebook. Here's what we need to do next. Ms. Evelyn looked up, her gaze sharp and firm. First, gather more information about this account. Second, investigate possible property transaction records. Third, prepare your list of joint assets. By the time I left the law firm, it was already dark. I returned home and opened my computer, preparing to organize some work documents to distract myself, but received a social media notification. It was a post from Skylar, a selfie taken at an upscale restaurant, with the caption, "Excited for my new home, excited for my new life." In the photo, she wore a large diamond ring, sparkling on her hand. I stared at the ring, a sharp pain in my stomach. That was the ring Marcus had given me on our wedding anniversary. I hadn't worn it much due to work and kept it in my jewelry box. I had seen it last week when tidying up. When did it get into her hands? I dialed Mom. Mom, are you asleep? No, what is it? Calling so late, Mom's voice was gentle and concerned. I was silent for a while, then finally spoke. Marcus and I might be getting a divorce. The other end of the line was silent for a few seconds, then a soft sigh. Because of another woman? How did you know? Intuition, I suppose, Mom said softly. Do you still love him? The question left me speechless for a moment. I don't know. Grace, a marriage needs effort, but only if both parties are willing to put in the effort, Mom said. My tears fell silently. Mom, I'm scared. If you fall, just get back up. Mom is always behind you. Mom's voice was warm and firm. Hanging up the phone, I walked to the window, gazing at the city lights. Past memory. Yes, faded like smoke. People I once thought I'd be with forever would eventually drift apart. So, he refused to sign the asset division agreement? Ms. Evelyn pushed up her glasses, looking at the documents I handed her. Yes, he said he needed more time to think. I took a sip of water, my throat dry. It's been 2 weeks now. Ms. Evelyn wrote something in her notebook, then looked up at me. This is common. Many people propose divorce thinking the other party will beg them to stay. When the other party calmly accepts, they hesitate themselves. Then what should I do next? I asked, a hint of anxiety in my voice. We can formally file a divorce lawsuit. The court will put pressure on him, she replied calmly. Soon after leaving the law firm, my phone rang. It was Director from the office. Grace, I have good news. His voice was excited. Starlight Corporation chose our creative proposal for their project. Starlight Corporation, a top cosmetic company in the country. This project was one we'd pursued for over 6 months. That's great. When do we start? Next. They want you to personally lead it. Me? The news surprised me. Shouldn't the creative be directly responsible? Director isn't feeling well and needs to take some time off to recover. The company believes you're the best fit to take on this project. Director paused. This is an opportunity, Grace. If you do well, the creative position could very well be yours. Hanging up, a long-lost sense of excitement surged in my heart. This project not only meant a huge challenge but could also be a turning point in my career. Back home, Marcus was uncharacteristically waiting in the living room. Seeing me enter, he immediately stood up. "You're back so late? Do you need something?" I put down my purse. "About the divorce." He hesitated. "I think we might need to talk more about the asset division, or our relationship." His eyes flickered. "Grace, we've been married for 6 years. Does it really have to end like this?" I stood in the entryway, with no intention of taking off my shoes. "Didn't you say we had irreconcilable differences?" I was just. A moment of impulse. He seemed to have found an excuse. "Did you change your mind because of Skylar?" I called him out directly. His expression changed, as if his secret had been exposed. "What are you talking about?" I turned and walked towards the bedroom. "I need to get up early tomorrow. Let's talk another day." "Grace." He followed me, his voice urgent. "I can't sign the asset division agreement, at least not now." I stopped. "Why?" "I've been having some financial issues lately." Sarah's investigation results flashed in my mind. Marcus's hidden account recently had large withdrawals used for the down payment and renovation costs of a new apartment. "I've already given the divorce papers to my lawyer. Someone will contact you next week." "You hired a lawyer?" His voice rose. "Are you in such a hurry to cut ties with me? Aren't you the one who wanted the divorce?" I countered. He seemed unable to find a suitable argument. I walked into the bedroom, closed the door, and leaned against it, taking a deep breath. The next morning, I went straight to the office and didn't see Marcus. The entire morning was spent in meetings with the Starlight Project team, discussing preliminary proposals. After the meeting, I noticed several missed calls on my phone, all from Marcus. Just as I was about to call back, the receptionist rushed over. "Director, someone is looking for you downstairs." As the elevator descended, I guessed it might be Ms. Evelyn with an urgent matter. But stepping into the lobby, I saw Marcus and Skylar, engaged in a heated argument. "You promised me." Skylar's voice was shrill. "Now you're telling me you don't have the money? What do you take me for?" "Keep your voice down." Marcus tried to lower her volume. "I said I'd fix it, but I need time." Skylar sneered. "What have you been doing with your time? Entangled with that wife of yours who doesn't even know how many times she's been cheated on?" Marcus noticed my appearance, and his expression immediately froze. Skylar followed his gaze, and upon seeing me, she showed no embarrassment, but rather a triumphant smile. "Isn't this director?" She feigned surprise. "What a coincidence." I ignored her provocation and calmly looked at Marcus. "Do you need something?" "Grace, I want to talk to you. Privately." He stepped forward. I glanced around. Many colleagues were curiously peeking. "Then let's talk when we get home tonight," I said in a low voice. "But I have plans tonight. I might be home very late." "What plans?" He frowned, his tone carrying a hint of accusation. "Work," I replied briefly, not wanting to explain further. Skylar sneered from the side. "Work? With that assistant with glasses, right? I saw you two having a lively lunch." So, she had been spying on me. "Marcus, you'd better keep your friend in check." I turned to leave. The office is not a place to argue. But grabbed my wrist. "Let go," I said calmly. He seemed to realize his loss of composure and slowly released my hand. "I'm sorry, I just." "Director." Assistant Adam's voice came from behind. "Starlight's client changed the requirements last minute. Director wants us to have a meeting to discuss it immediately." I gave him a grateful look, knowing he was there to help me out. "Okay, I'm going up now." As I turned, I heard Skylar whisper to Marcus, "See? She already has a new boyfriend. What are you still hesitating for?" That evening, I deliberately worked late before going home. The apartment was pitch black. Marcus wasn't there. On the dining table lay an envelope, containing a card and a key. The card read, "I'm sorry. I'm moving out for some time to give us both space to think calmly. Here's the key to the new apartment. If you want to talk, you can come find me anytime. The address is." I tore the card into pieces and threw the key into the trash can. Opening my closet, I took out a set of pajamas I hadn't worn in a long time. I used to always wear styles Marcus liked. Now, it was time to live for myself. Standing in front of the bathroom mirror, I stared at my long hair. Picking up the scissors, strands of black hair fell to the floor. Each snip was like cutting ties with the past. Finally, I looked at myself in the mirror, shoulder-length hair, chic and sharp, like a completely changed person. My phone rang. It was a text message from Sarah. "Investigation has a new development. I'll tell you tomorrow." I replied, "Okay, see you tomorrow." Turning off the bathroom light, I walked to the bedroom. Moonlight streamed through the window, forming a silver path of light on the floor. From today on, I was no longer anyone's shadow, but Grace, belonging to myself. Director, the client is so pleased. Director gripped my hand, almost jumping with excitement. Starlight CEO personally called to praise us, saying our creative proposal was the best he'd ever seen. Applause erupted in the conference room, and the team members' faces glowed with joy. Director smiled and waved his hand. The project was a success, so the company decided to hold a celebration party next Friday. Also, he looked at me. Director's sick leave will likely be extended. The board of directors has decided to accelerate the selection process for the creative position, and Grace, you are the strongest candidate. Stepping out of the conference room, my phone vibrated. It was Marcus. I heard your project was very successful. Since he moved out last time, we hadn't seen each other directly for 2 weeks. My lawyer told me he had been delaying signing the divorce papers, citing the need for time to organize assets. Any matters can be communicated through our lawyers, I replied. Grace, don't be like this. Our matters shouldn't be handled by lawyers. He quickly replied, I'll pick you up after work tonight, okay? No need, I have plans tonight. Is it with that assistant again? This made me frown. My private life doesn't require me to report to you. Marcus, if you've really thought it through, please sign the divorce papers as soon as possible. Delaying will only cause us both more pain. You don't understand. He suddenly grew agitated. I made a mistake any man could make. But that doesn't mean our marriage should end. I didn't reply, silenced my phone, and focused on preparing for the next meeting. After work, Sarah was waiting for me downstairs from the office. Come on, let's grab dinner. She linked her arm through mine. I have good news and bad news. Which do you want first? Bad news first. Your husband's hidden account definitely has issues, she whispered. Over the past 2 years, about $1.5 million of unidentified funds have moved in and out. $1.5 million? The number shocked me. What's the good news then? The good news is, we found evidence, she winked triumphantly. He used his position at the company for shady dealings. This will be very beneficial for your divorce lawsuit. During dinner, Sarah explained the investigation results in detail. It turned out Marcus had used his position to receive many kickbacks from clients, and this money all went into that hidden account. If exposed, he could face a career crisis, Sarah said. Of course, the choice is yours. I don't want to hurt him that way, I thought for a moment. As long as he's willing to fairly divide the assets, these pieces of evidence will remain undisclosed. You're too kind, Sarah sighed. I hope he'll be sensible. Oh, by the way, I heard your company has a celebration party next Friday? Yes, the Starlight project was a success, I nodded. Then you need to dress up nicely, her eyes lit up. Coincidentally, I know a stylist who can give you a complete makeover. Me? I was a little surprised, instinctively looking at myself. I never pay much attention to my appearance, I usually wear simple business attire. Don't tell me you're planning to wear that black business suit? Sarah looked at me with disdain. 6 years, Grace, it's time to reinvent yourself. Okay, I took a deep breath, as if making a big decision. I'll trust you. Friday arrived quickly. After work, Sarah took me to her friend's styling studio. Just leave it to us, the stylist scrutinized me. 2 hours later, a strange yet familiar woman appeared in the mirror. My makeup was subtle but exquisite, and my lip color was much more vibrant than I usually wore. You have to try this dress, Sarah said, holding out a wine-red dress. I specifically picked it for you. Won't it be too eye-catching? I hesitated. Eye-catching is exactly the effect we want, Sarah insisted. Grace, you've been hidden for too long. The hotel ballroom was decorated elegantly yet with vibrancy, just like the concept conveyed by Starlight's new brand image. Colleagues gathered in small groups, chatting, with laughter occasionally drifting through the air. The moment I stepped into the hall, there seemed to be a brief silence, followed by a chorus of whispers. Wow, is that director? Oh my God, she's completely transformed. Why is she so radiant today? Unaccustomed to being the center of attention, I walked a bit uncomfortably towards the bar. Director came over and patted my shoulder. Grace, tonight's the night you're the star. Not only was the project a success, but you're completely refreshed. Thank you, I just changed clothes. It's not just the clothes, Director said meaningfully. It's your aura. You know, the board of directors is already discussing candidates for the creative, and I dare say, you're halfway there. Just as we were talking, a commotion suddenly erupted in the crowd. Turning to look, Marcus and Skylar stood at the entrance. Why are they here? I asked Director in a low voice. Skylar is an editor for a fashion magazine, and Starlight is an important client of the IRS, so being invited is normal, Director explained. But I'm not sure why your husband is here. Soon-to-be ex-husband, I corrected. We're in the process of getting a divorce. Director nodded knowingly, not asking any more questions. Skylar quickly spotted me. Her expression went from surprise to disdain, finally settling on a forced composure and a mocking look. Marcus's reaction was even more dramatic. He froze on the spot, his gaze fixed on me as if he was seeing a stranger. For the next hour, I fully immersed myself in conversing with clients, completely ignoring Marcus's presence. Starlight's marketing director was full of praise for our proposal, even hinting at more collaboration opportunities. Director, someone's looking for you, a colleague whispered. I turned around to see Marcus standing a few steps away, looking at me with complicated eyes. Excuse me for a moment, I said to the client, then walked to a relatively quiet corner. What do you want? I asked directly. You're beautiful tonight. He tried to regain our past intimacy. More beautiful than when we first met. Thank you. If there's nothing else, I need to go back. I'm sorry. His voice trembled a little. I was wrong, truly wrong. I've thought a lot lately. Without you, I realize I can't live without you. What about Skylar? I asked calmly. Does she know you're saying this to me here? We broke up, his voice lowered. After that argument you saw downstairs from your office that day, I cut ties with her. Congratulations on finally seeing her true colors, I said flatly, without any sarcasm. Grace, is there really no chance to reconcile between us? His eyes pleaded. 6 years of feelings, is it really just ending like this? I said softly, the moment you betrayed me, you made your choice. Regretting it now is only because your new choice isn't as good as you imagined. That's not it. He eagerly explained. I just had a moment of weakness, led astray by her empty promises. It's always been you I love. If you have any self-respect left, please sign the divorce papers as soon as possible. We both need a new life. I can't sign. He clenched his fist. Unless you promise me a chance to start over. There's no starting over, only a clean break. I gently pulled my hand away from his. As I turned to leave, I heard his hurried footsteps following me. Grace, are you seeing someone else now? Is it Assistant Adam? I didn't answer, walking directly towards Assistant Adam and the clients. After the party, I called a rideshare and left alone. I received a long text message from Marcus on my phone. Grace, seeing you tonight, I realized what I lost. You were radiating a glow I'd never seen before. That confidence and poise broke my heart. I know it's too late to say anything now, but I have to tell you, leaving you was the biggest mistake of my life. Please give me a chance, even just to start over as friends. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win back your trust. After reading the message, I didn't reply, simply deleting it. Back home, I changed out of my dress, removed my makeup, and lay in bed, filled with an unprecedented peace and relief. That night, I slept soundly, without dreams or tears. Are you sure you won't accept the terms we've proposed? Ms. Evelyn closed her folder, her voice calm but firm. Across from us, Marcus's lawyer cleared his throat. My client believes that, considering the contribution ratio in the marriage, this asset division is not fair. Contribution ratio? Ms. Evelyn raised an eyebrow. Ms. Grace repeatedly gave up her promotion opportunities to support Mr. Chen's career. If we're going to talk about contribution, perhaps Mr. Chen should feel more guilt. The atmosphere in the conference room immediately grew tense. Marcus sat beside his lawyer, glancing at me occasionally, his eyes complex. Since last week's party, his attitude had become more contradictory. On one hand, he frequently sent text messages, expressing remorse, yet on the other, he refused to budge an inch in the divorce negotiations. I believe the current negotiations are no longer constructive. Ms. Evelyn began to gather her documents. If Chen insists on this stance, we will have no choice but to resolve this through court. Wait. Marcus finally spoke. Could you give us some time for a private conversation? Ms. Evelyn looked at me, and I subtly nodded. The two lawyers discreetly left the conference room, leaving Marcus and me sitting face to face. Grace, I don't want this. His voice was low. Having lawyers haggle over our emotions like this, it's too much. This isn't dividing emotions, Marcus. The emotions are long gone. We're just handling the remaining matters. I calmly interrupted him. Are you really so heartless? Marcus stared at me, a hint of disbelief in his eyes. 6 years of marriage, just like that, erased? You were the one who betrayed me first, weren't you? I countered, my voice still calm. I know I made a mistake. His voice rose. But I've completely cut ties with Skylar. Can't you give me another chance? I didn't answer. Instead, I opened my phone and pulled up Skylar's social media post from yesterday, a photo together of her and Marcus in a restaurant, captioned "A Lover's Respite." The photo was posted last night at 8, exactly when Marcus told me he was working late. That's an old photo, she deliberately posted it to Sow Discord, he explained frantically. Perhaps. I put my phone away. But it doesn't matter anymore. Sign the papers, Marcus. It's for the best for both of us. The conference room door suddenly swung open. Skylar stood in the doorway, a triumphant smile on her face. Oh dear, am I interrupting? What are you doing here? Marcus demanded harshly. Don't be so harsh, honey. She walked in and casually sat down. I just came to see how the divorce was progressing. After all, I'm very invested in the outcome. I quietly activated my phone's recording function and placed it on the desktop. Marcus stood up. Skylar, please leave. No, 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 she waved her hand. Marcus, calm down. I'm here to help you. Help me? Marcus frowned. Yes. Skylar looked at me. Director, do you really believe he broke up with me? He was just trying to string you along. In fact, our relationship has progressed even further. Right, honey? Marcus's face turned pale. What are you talking about? Skylar giggled and opened her handbag. Then what are these? She took out a silk scarf, a watch, and a keychain from her purse, placing them one by one on the desktop. This Hermes scarf, you just gave it to me last week. This Patek watch, that was my birthday gift. And these keys, well, these are the keys to our love nest. Oh, and thank you for helping me with the down payment. I'll handle the renovation costs myself. I looked at these items, feeling a sense of familiarity. That watch was the birthday gift I gave Marcus last year. Marcus's voice was almost barely recognizable. I never gave you any of those. You didn't? Skylar sneered. What about this card then? That's work compensation. Marcus weakly explained. Skylar laughed mockingly. Do you want me to call your company's finance department right now and ask them if they know about this work compensation? Marcus slumped into the chair, his face ashen. Miss Skylar, I began. Why are you telling us all this? Her gaze shifted to me, tinged with scorn. Because I'm tired of it. This game has been going on for too long, and I want to end it quickly. Game? I frowned. What else did you think it was? True love? Skylar sneered, her tone full of disdain. She paused, as if savoring Marcus's ashen face, before slowly continuing, I just needed his resources and connections. You. Marcus shot up. Skylar said unhurriedly, I'm just speaking the truth. Then why are you exposing all this now? I asked. Because he's useless now. Skylar glanced at Marcus. Ever sink. You two decided to divorce, he's changed person, distracted all the time, and even started stealing money from the company for me. Too risky. I don't want to get involved in any legal trouble. Marcus's expression was as if he had been struck by lightning. You know I know you're using your position for personal gain? Of course. She shrugged. The room fell into silence for a moment. I looked at Marcus, his eyes were vacant, as if he had aged 10 years in an instant. So, Skylar stood up and straightened her clothes. I think our working relationship is over. Director, I wish you a smooth divorce. With that, she turned and walked towards the doorway. The conference room fell into silence once again. Marcus buried his face in his hands, his shoulders trembling slightly. I turned off the recording. I've recorded this conversation. If you're willing to cooperate with the divorce, I won't make this evidence public. But if you continue delaying, I don't mind letting your company and friends hear this recording. He looked up, his eyes filled with shock. You're threatening me? I'm just being reasonable. I stood up. I've asked Ms. Evelyn to redraft the divorce agreement, removing the terms not proposed by me. It will be sent to your office tomorrow. I hope this time you can sign it without fuss. With that, I didn't pay Marcus any more attention and turned to leave the conference room. Ms. Evelyn was waiting for me in the hallway. Did it go smoothly? She asked with concern. Smoother than expected. I sent her the recording. With this, he shouldn't delay anymore. So, he signed? Sarah handed me a cup of hot tea, her eyes sparkling with surprise. Yes, this morning. I gently blew away the steam from the tea. 3 days after Skylar's truth being revealed, the divorce process finally took a significant step. Did he try to win you back again? He sent messages every day, but I didn't reply. I stared into my teacup. Sometimes I wonder if I hadn't found out about his cheating, how would our marriage have continued? Like millions of other outwardly calm marriages, Sarah said softly. You would continue to sacrifice for him, giving up your time and opportunities, and he probably would never appreciate it. The frightening thing is, I might happily accept it. She put down her cup and looked directly at me. That's dependence and habit. I was silent for a while, considering her words. For the past 6 years, I had indeed compromised and backed down in many ways, even forgotten who I truly was. Do you remember our college dreams? Sarah suddenly asked. You wanted to be a therapist, and I wanted to be a painter. Then you gave up painting to accommodate Marcus's feelings and entered the advertising industry instead. It was a realistic choice. Partly, but how much of it was to meet his expectations? She countered, what did he used to say? That painting was just a hobby, not a real profession? That sentence was like a key, unlocking forgotten memories. Marcus had indeed repeatedly hinted that painting was just a pastime, and had even subtly criticized me for not realistic enough. And I, to prove I was a sensible wife, slowly gave up that dream. How long has it been since you painted? Sarah asked. She took my hand. Grace, it's time to find your true self again. Leaving's place, I went directly to Mom's place. Pushing open the long-sealed studio door, the familiar smell of paint washed over me, as if time had stood still there. Finally remembered this place? Mom stood in the doorway, her voice filled with relief. Yes, I want to start over. I knew you'd come back. She walked in, gently brushing the dust off the easel. Your talent shouldn't be buried. The night I brought back my art supplies, I started my first painting. My strokes were clumsy, the composition was unsteady, but that long-lost sense of immersion made me forget the time. The next day, I went to work feeling a bit tired but invigorated. As soon as I entered the office, Robert found me. Grace, good news. The board of directors has decided the creative position is yours. Really? Of course. Your performance on the Starlight project won everyone over. He smiled and patted my shoulder. It'll be officially announced next Monday. Get ready for new challenges. After signing the appointment letter and stepping out of the office, Adam had already prepared celebratory champagne. I had a feeling there would be good news, so I prepared in advance. He handed me a cup, to our talented new creative. I raised my cup and lightly clinked it with his. Without your cooperation, the project wouldn't have been so successful. I just did my part. He smiled. You, on the other hand, have changed surprisingly in the past 2 months. It's like you suddenly found new strength. Your entire being is radiating with light. Perhaps it's because I finally found my true self. Anyway, I'm happy to see you like this now. His gaze was sincere and warm. By the way, there's some news you might be interested in. After work, the company held a small celebration party for me. Colleagues offered their congratulations, and the atmosphere was lively and warm. Adam stayed by my side, timely helping me fend off some overly enthusiastic toasts. Want to grab dinner? He asked after the party. We could discuss future work plans properly. I can't tonight, I have some personal matters to handle. I politely declined. Understood. He didn't seem disappointed. Another day then, you set the time. As night deepened, streetlights flickered on one by one. I walked along the familiar streets, feeling the city's pulse. This was my current state, no longer an accessory to anyone, no longer living by anyone's expectations, but the true, complete Grace. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.